Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we have came here with a new interesting video, that is we will see that how for multiple line codes we can only use single line Python codes that are very useful in our program for faster writing and for faster coding. Okay, so at first we will see how to swap variables. So I have created two variables here, a and b. In a I have stored Python and in b I have stored Java. Now I have to swap the values of this a and b. How I'll do it? As you can see in this line, I have written a comma b equals b comma a. Okay, I'll execute this code and then in the next cell I'll just print it. I'll first print a and then I'll print b, and you will see when I'm printing a, at first place Java is getting printed and at b Python is getting printed, but we have stored a Python in a and Java in b, so our values are getting swapped. How it is happening? As we'll see that at the place of a we are storing the value of b, that is Java. So now at the place of a Java has been stored, and at the place of b we are storing the value of a, means we are storing Python in the place of b. So that's why when we are printing a, Java is getting printed, and when we are printing b, Python is getting printed. That's how we are swapping our variables values. Okay, then we'll move forward. We'll see for finding maximum element in a list, how we can do it in a single line. That we'll see. For first of all, that I have given a list, uh, because the list that will be work on. Now in using one line we can just find the maximum from our list. First, we have to create the variable in which we want to store the maximum value, and then we have to use the simple maximum function, that is a universal function of Python, which is used in iterable to find the maximum values, and that is max here. And inside the max, we have to give our iterator, means the name of our list, that is lst. So we have written here lst, and then we have to simply print our maximum element. If we'll not print also, then also the maximum value is getting stored in this variable. For printing the value, we have to use the print function. And when I'll execute this cell, you will see that in from this list, 9 is the maximum element present in this list, and that is getting printed. So in this way, in one line, you can find the maximum element. Okay. Now for the minimum, there is the same thing, but the function is changed. Now there is minimum function, that is min. We write min, and we have to store it in another variable, and then we have to print that variable, and when you'll execute it, 2 is getting printed. Now the innovative thing, that is list comprehension. It is most important. As suppose you want to do something with all the elements in your list, in your provided list, and you want to do it in all your elements present inside that list. Suppose, for example, I want to do the square, so I have used the exponential operator over here. Now this x represent the elements, and then this exponential operator, and then this 2 represent that I want to do the square of all the elements present in our list. And then I am using the loops, for loops. So first I'm writing the output, that what I want, then I'm using the loop for iterate over every element in our list. So for x in our list, where is the list? Here is the list. In this list we are iterating over that same list, so in that list, and then we are storing this all things in a newly created variable, that is squared underscore numbers. And after that we will just simply print that squared underscore numbers. And when I'll print it, you will see we are getting a list with the each element has been done with its square. As you can see, there was 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 and 6, and in the output you will see 4 square of 2, then square of 3, 9, then 16 of 4, then 25 of 5, then 81 of 9, and then 36 of 6. Okay, now next one, that how we can filter it. So for filter, there is a function which is the filter function, and this function, inside this function, we are giving a lambda function over here. So as you can see, and every time when we create a lambda function, we have to write lambda keyword first, and then the parameter for that. So x is the parameter I am taking with my lambda function, and after the colon, we'll uh, check for the condition, and then we'll provide our iterator. This is the formula for, this is the syntax you can say for creating lambda function. So here we want to check for the even ones. Okay, and where we are checking we are checking on our iterator lst. Okay, and then one thing I'll show you, when I'm not writing this list, when I'm not using the list function, then when we'll print it, then an object reference address will get printed. Because what is happening, this filter has done its work and has been stored in the even underscore numbers, but it is not in the format of a list. So when we want to print it in format of list, now it is as an object and it is printing the address of that object. But when we want to print as in a list, so we have to use the list function, and using one line, you can simply just filter it. So all the even numbers present in our LST list are getting printed over here. That is 2, 4, and 6. These are the only even elements present in our this LST list. Okay. Now, the use of the map function. Now, the map function also can take a function inside it and do its work. We'll see how. So, for doubling the value of all the elements present in our list, we have used the first we have used the map function. Inside the map function, we are creating a lambda function. And same thing, for creating a lambda function, first of all, we have to write the lambda keyword, lambda, lambda. Then we have to give the parameter, that is x over here. Then followed by the colon, we'll write our output, that we want. So we want to double each element. So we have just simply written x multiplied with 2. So each time the element present in our list, every element will present inside our list will get doubled, will get multiplied with 2. And then after the comma, we have provided the iterator in which we want to perform this thing, in which we want to double all the elements. So we want to perform on LST, and we have stored in a variable doubled underscore numbers, and we will simply print it. Now the same thing goes here also. When we will not use the list, then it will print an object address like this. But this time you will see the name has been changed to map, that it is a map object, it is a map function object at this address. Okay, now to convert it into a list, we have to use the list function. So this is the list function here, and now it will be printed in a list, and you will see each element has been multiplied with 2 and has been doubled. Okay, now for finding the sum of all the elements present in our list, so for that we have to create a variable, and then using the sum function, and we have to give the name of our iterator, that is LST over here, and we will just simply print the total over here, and the total of this 2, 4, 3, 5, 9, 6 is 29. You can check. Okay, I will move ahead and we'll see for checking all elements present in our list that are true or false. Okay, so for that there is a function that is all, that will check for every element present in our list, and then we have to store it into a variable. So I have created a variable all underscore true, and I'm printing that variable, and I'll get the value true, because we have checked over each element and each element is satisfying true, each element is present there, each element is doing its work, so it is giving true. Okay, now for checking for if any element in a list is true or not. Okay, so then for checking any element, we will use the any function, and then we'll give the iterator name, and we are storing it in a variable any underscore true, and then we are printing it, and it will also return true. Now this is for if all the elements are true, then this will give return true. Suppose if in the list, wait a second, I'll just, yeah, here. Now the list is here. Now I'll do what? I'll store false over here. Now you'll see. When I have stored false in it, and then after when I've executed the program, now it is returning true because it was checking for all the elements. All the elements in a list. If all the elements present in our list are true, then it will return true. If there is some values that are false or some values that have a condition which returns false, then it will return false. So it was for checking all the elements. Now in the next program we are checking for any element. So now it will return true only. Now again I'll show you like this. First it is returning true, but when I'll add false in it, then also it will return true because it is checking for any element. If one of the elements from this list is true, then also it will return true. Okay, this is the difference between all and any. Now we'll move forward, and for checking the count of occurrence of an element. Okay, so for checking the count of a particular element occurrence, suppose I have given the 2 here in our element, that I want to check for 2, that how many times 2 is present in our LST list. So in simple one line we can check it. First we have created a variable count. In that we are performing, first of all we have written the name of our list LST. Then we have to perform a function. We have to use a function count, that is the function of the list that gives us the count of the particular element, that how much time it has been occurred in our list. And suppose 2 has been occurred only once here, that's why it is returning only 1. So I'll make it more clear to you guys. Suppose I added one more 2 in our list. Now when I'll execute, you will see the value has been updated to 2 because 2 is 2 times over here. Now again when I'll do it, now it has been updated to 3 because 2 has been present 3 times in our list. That's why. Now one more important thing, for reversing a string, there are functions reverse and many more, but this is the most efficient way, slicing. It is called slicing, in which you can just reverse the string in a just finger of seconds, just like this. First of all we have to store our string over here, so that for that I have created a variable my underscore str. In that I have stored CL coding, that is the name of the website and that is the name of that our brand that works. And after that you can see I have created a variable over here in which I have to store the reverse string, that is reverse underscore str. In that, for performing the slicing, we have to first write the name of our string in which we want to perform the slicing of reversing a string. So my underscore str is the name, and then followed by the square braces, then this 2 columns, then -1. Then this first column represents us the starting, the second one represents us the ending, and the third one gives us the step. So here the step is, now here we didn't given any value because we want from the starting to the end. That's why we didn't given any value. But in the step part we have given -1. Now what does -1 means here? -1 means it will start from the last and then it will go so on. Okay, and then we have, now when this will be executed, then the reverse of the CL coding will get stored in this reverse underscore str, and then we are printing reverse underscore str, and you will see that the reverse of CL coding, that is GNI, DOC and LC, is getting printed. Okay, then we'll move forward to the 12th uh, line, to the 12th single line Python code that will help us write faster and code faster. So this is regarding file handling, that how we can read from our file. Okay, how we can do it? So first of all, first we have to create a variable. So I have created lines over here, and one more important part, that we have to first keep our file in the location where or we have to give the full address of our file. So I have already a file that name is file.txt in my directory, this directory only where I have kept my file. And this thing is important to have your file with you. Now, after that, inside the square braces, what I want the output. So I want the output for the lines present in our my this txt file, and then I want to strip it. So that's why I've used line.strip to cut every line. Okay. Now this is the output which I want. Now after that, for line in means for line means I have given the variable for the iterator to iterate over in my loop. So for line in, now we have used the open function directly, and inside the open function we have given the name of our file, that is file.txt, and then I have just printed my lines in which we are storing all of these functions values, object value, and you will see that in my file.txt how are you has been stored. And you can see from here also in my file.txt that how are you is written. Okay, so this is how you can use the open method to read all the lines present in your file using the loop. So this is very useful. Now, inline if else. Now we have seen the use of if else, else if, but when we have to check for if and else values, so then we don't need to go for the proper indentation and 3-4 lines codes. We can just directly do it in just one line. I'll show you how. First, I have created a value over here, that is result. Before that, I have taken a variable x, and in that I have taken 3, means I have stored this 3 in this x. Then I have taken a variable result, and then the output which will be given when this if statement will be true. So we have to write the output first. So even will be the output. Even is the string that will be our output that we want to print when the condition will satisfy. Now, with a followed by a space, we have used our conditional statement if, then again space, then we are given our condition, that is we want to check for even if the x multiplied by or division by means remainder division by 2, and the remainder will be equal to 0, then it means it is a even number, so even will get print. Else, now after that condition a space is given, then else, and then after followed by a space we want to print odd, and then we have printed result over here. And now when I'll execute it, so obviously 3 is the odd value, so odd is getting printed. When I'll update it to 4, so even will get print. So this is how you can use inline if else conditional statements, where you don't need any indentation, any 3-4 lines. In just one single line you can check for if and else. Now for flattening a nested list, suppose you have a nested list and you want to flatten that list. So for that, just using a single line you can do that. I'll show you how. So first I have created the nested list, and I have stored in nested underscore list variable. Then I have again created to store our flattened list. So I have created a variable flat underscore list. Now inside the square braces, because we are working with lists, so inside the square braces, item for sublist in nested list, we have to basically iterate 2 times. So how we have to iterate? First we want the output item. Okay, so we want the output item. So for, just check this condition, for sublist in nested list, first we are iterating over the sublists, means this upper list is the parent list. Then in this parent list, first we want to iterate over the sublist, means the child list. So for iterating over the child list, we are using for sublist in nested list. Now we are iterating over the child list. Now again, what we want, now we want to iterate over this item, means this child list. this item present in our child list. So for item in sublist. Now we are iterating over the child list. Okay. And this output means this element item is now the iterable over here. As you can see, item for item in sublist. And now when we'll print flat underscore list, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 without this child list is getting printed only in single parent list. That is how you can use to flatten a nested list just using a single line. Okay, we'll move forward. For finding the factorial of a number, we just directly do it in a single line. For that, we have to import a library, or you can say a module, that is functools. So first we have to import that, and then you have to give the value that at which value you want to find the factorial. I want the factorial of 5, so that's why I have stored in n5. Now I've created a variable factorial in which I am going to perform my functions. Now if you'll see, I have used one line if else also, and then the reduce method which is present in functools also. So I'll show you how to do it. So first I have given the output that if n will be equal to 0, the value of n if will be 0, then the output will be 1. Else, now in the else I am doing the calculation for finding the factorial, that is functools. First of all, I want to use a function present in the functools. That's why I have to write file first functools dot reduce, and I want to use the reduce method. That's why I've written dot reduce. In this method, I'm giving a lambda function. I'm using a lambda function, and we know that for creating a lambda function, we have to use the keyword lambda. Then I have taken two parameters x and y, and then the output what we want the multiplication of x and y. So I have given x and y. Then we have given the range. Earlier we have seen we have given the iterator over there. Now we are using the range to start from 1 to go till n plus 1. Means in this value 5, first it will start from 1, then it will go till n plus 1. Means the n will be the value, the n will be 4, because in the range function, as we know, 1 is the starting part, it is inclusive, but the ending part is exclusive. Means when we are iterating over 5, so it will iterate only for 4. So that's why we have given n plus 1 over here. So first it will iterate for 1, then 1 will get multiplied with 2, then 2 will get multiplied with 3, then 4, and then 5, and then the answer will be, the output will be stored in the factorial variable, and after that we are printing the factorial variable, and 120 is our answer and it is getting printed. Now we'll check for the first condition when we are giving 1 or when we are giving 0 over here, then also the value 1 is getting printed, as you can see here. Now we'll move forward. Now for finding the unique elements from our list, what we can do. So for finding the unique elements, suppose there are multiple elements present in our list and we want to find the unique elements only. So first of all, we have to create a variable in which we want to store our unique values. So unique, then we have to use the set function. Now this set function will convert this list, as in set duplicate values are not allowed, so only unique values will be kept. So when we'll use this set function and we'll give the name of our list inside the set, it just removes all the duplicate elements and only keep the unique ones. And then we are printing the unique element. And you will see earlier we have 3 2's, but now there are only 1 2 which has get printed. Now one more thing here. Why we have used this list function? Now we have used this list function to convert this unique elements into a list. When we will not use this list function, what will happen? It will print in a set. As you can see, the braces has been changed to curly braces. So for taking the input in list only, we have to then convert this into a list. So that's why we have used the list function. Now moving forward, to execute a function for each element in a list. Now suppose you want to apply a function. A built-in function means suppose we have already created a function and you want to apply that function over each element in your list. So how you will do it? So first of all, you have to keep that function with you. So I've created that function here only. I've created the function my underscore function. Then I've given a parameter x, and I just simply returning the multiplication of that number with itself. I mean, suppose if the parameter will be 2, then it will get multiplied with 2. Okay, that we are suppose in some way we can say we are doing the multiplication of that number with that number only. Okay, now then after that we have to create a variable result. Now in result we are using the map function. Okay, and we know that the map function takes a function inside that, and then takes the second thing, takes the iterator name. So here inside the map function we are giving a lambda function, lambda x. Okay, now in this lambda function the x is a parameter, and then we are giving the name of the function that we want to execute in our list. So, and then we are giving the parameter because this function takes a parameter. So that's why we have and this lambda function also has a parameter. So we have to give a parameter here also. So remember that thing, our lambda function has a parameter. So this function should also have a parameter like this. And then we are giving the iterator name. And now you will see when I'll print it, 2 is getting multiplied with 2, 4, then 3 is getting multiplied with 3 times 3, so it's becoming 27. Then 4 is getting multiplied 4 times, so 4 into 4 into 4, that's a 256. Just like that the values are getting printed. Now for calculating the average just in a single line, how we can do that? We can just simply do that. First we have to store that in. So for storing that we have created variable average. Now you will see how average is calculated. So for this all we have to do the sum of all the elements and then with the length. So we are doing the same thing. First we are using the sum function, sum of that list, then dividing by the length, means the number of elements present in our list. And then we are checking for a condition that if the length of that list is greater than 0, then only this will be the output, this will be done, or else if it is 0, then 0 will get printed. And then we are printing the average, and this is our average, 3.66666, like this. Now we have come to the second last thing, that is to convert the characters into list. How we can do that? So we can do that by simply using the list function. So in the char underscore list we are storing this string hello, and we have used the list function. And when we print char underscore list, you will see each character of our string hello has been separately stored as a element of that list. Now for finding the common elements between two lists in single line, how we can do that? So first of all we have created a variable common underscore elements, and then we have taken a list function, and in that list function first we are finding the unique elements of lists 1 using the set function, and then we are checking for the list 2, we are finding the unique elements, and then using the AND operator and keeping this whole thing inside the list function to convert into a list. And in this way all the unique elements that are present, means all the common values that are present in list 1 and list 2 will get printed, 6 and 7, like this. So that's it for this video. I hope you have understood all of them and you will use in your day-to-day life. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you in the